April 15th, 2025, tax day, 7:02 p.m. Everybody can rise and say the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Yes. Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch? Trustee Roll?
Here.
Trustee Taylor? Trustee Williams?
Good. Would somebody like to make a motion for the approval of the regular board meeting minutes of April 1st, 2025?
So moved.
Trustee Williams.
Second.
Trustee Brown. Any questions or corrections? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Roll?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch? Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Treasurer report, Mike Hanson.
So, welcome everybody. Bills payable through April 11th of 2025. Corporate was $472,184.32. Sewer and water, $234,947.08. TIF industrial was $3,505.11. TIF Holbrook Road was $700. Glenwood Golf Course was $77,801.89. TIF Halsted North was $100. TIF Halsted South was $1,250. For a total of all funds of $790,488.40. I want to make one footnote on this because I was told to mention this one ahead of time. That Miller Cooper did hit 25,000. At this point, it's actually a little bit more like 25,500. The notable fund transfers that are needed due to the AP run, we need an enterprise transfer fund from sewer water to corporate for $62,373.90. This is for the garbage fees that are collected on the water bills. And then we also need $125,933.34. This is due to when we paid for the trucks that were ordered and approved from our December board meeting. That two of them go to sewer and water, and one is technically public works or the corporate fund. Additional to that, we do also have a note here for the request to move the budgeted $200,000 between industrial TIF and the sewer and water for the repayment of the funds owed per resolution R 2023-05. And this is the one that came up about $2 million plus dollar amount that was owed back to the general fund from the TIF.
Okay, before I ask for a motion in a second, Trustee Lynch wants to participate remotely. Can we get a first and a second?
So.
Trustee Roll, Trustee Taylor. Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Roll? Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Aye. So Brian, he's not on Zoom?
He was looking for someone to call him.
Okay,
Yeah.
can we, Deanna, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion for the bills payable?
I can jump. So moved.
Trustee Lynch, do we have a second? Trustee Clark. Clerk Williams, call the roll.
I have a question.
After, I'm sorry. Questions? I apologize.
No problem. So it was my understanding, unless the other trustees can confirm, that we said that once Miller Cooper got to 25,000, that we did not approve paying them, if I'm not mistaken, over 25,000 a time. Is that right?
Yes.
Because now we're at $25,487.25. Okay, thank you for saying that.
So what we'll have to do at the next board meeting is you guys tell Cooper that they cannot perform any duties until the next board meeting where we can extend the amount that we need them to do.
Okay,
Any other questions?
So, Mayor, with that, talk, we want to stop, we need to stop it now.
You what?
Do you want us to stop it now? Because that amount will still continue to the next board meeting for, Brian, actually said, what, maybe 2 more days in?
yeah, I believe that's correct, because she's down to once a week, and there was a week that she didn't even come in.
So how much is it?
I don't have that handy.
You're probably about 2,500 at the most, not to exceed.
Well, just tell them not to come in until there's a vote at the next board.
Sure.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown? I'm voting no, because we said to stop at 25,000 and it went over $487. My vote is no. Trustee Clark?
My question is, yes, I mean, the bill that we, yeah, the bill paying now is 25,400, but we will not have them come in again until the board votes on it at the next board. So they're $400 over what they.
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Trustee Lynch.
Trustee Rowe? As long as we don't use Miller Cooper services anymore, I know these are services already here. And it's total, the $794.88 also includes other items. Once you vote yes, I ask that we not use Miller Cooper until we get this sorted out. Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Trustee Lynch, are you still there? There's the phone. Okay, motion carried. Payroll.
Payroll for the check dated April 4th of 2025. Administrative payroll was $18,165.22. Public Works, $11,506.39. Police, $109,114.81. Fire Department, $27,052.07. Senior Center, $259.50. Elected positions, $1,071.31. Sewer and Water, $21,369.01. And Glenwood Golf Course, $20,321.17, for a total payroll of $208,859.48. The notables to the payroll are as follows. The overtime police was $9,265.91, of which reimbursable was $2,501.18. Public Works, $205.62. sewer and water, $381.87. Fire department, $116.21. Administrative, $24.75. Golf, $283.22. Paid on call was $11,895.09. Economic development stipend, $496.85. Deputy clerk stipend was $207.02.
Somebody like to make a motion to approve the pay?
I have a question.
Well, we gotta get a first and a second.
Okay. So moved.
Trustee Taylor, trustee Lynch. Any questions?
Okay, I have a question. Brian, whose overtime was $24.75 from administrative? Whose overtime was $283.22 from golf? And why did the deputy clerk stipend increase?
So I don't have the by person, the golf piece in front of me. I know there's only one person on the administrative, which would be Carolyn, that could get overtime. And that's primarily because she went to the Brookwood Point Homeowners Association to do vehicle sticker purchases. As far as the golf, I can tell you it's maintenance, but I don't know who it is on the maintenance side.
That's fine.
Deputy clerk stipend, so within correcting the reporting from the Paylocity reports, we also added the fact that technically the village is paying for FICA and Medicare expenses for payroll, which was never reported in the report in the past, but we did have that obligation as a village, so this really incorporates that into that number. So that's really the change from that.
Thank you.
Any questions? Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Roll?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Okay, the meeting is now open to the public. Anybody wishing to come up, make your name, and there's questions, and we have 3 minutes for everybody that comes up. Chief, could you document the minutes?
There's no sheet here, so Melinda Platt, 423 West Arcola. Good evening. I'm coming on behalf of baseball time. The opening day is May 3rd, and I emailed to Chief Pencourt to let him know that we would like to have an escort from Calvary over to the baseball field, the fire department as well. Everyone's welcome to come out and join us and see our kids. We don't have a lot of kids this year because we've got football doing spring ball and basketball is now offering soccer. But we still have some kids that are wanting to play, and so we're going to have a season. It's 9 o'clock. So we are, the kids are out there now and preparing for, a good season. We plan to have a nice picnic. Everybody's invited first. Well, I'll make sure everybody knows about it. We always have a beautiful picnic and everybody's invited. And I hope everybody will come out and see. There are a few kids that are playing, about 20 kids. Less than half of what we usually have. But we lost some kids to neighboring areas that charge, less money and the other activities. But we do have some kids that want to play, so we're going to have baseball. We thank you for the generous donation of $5,000. And we do appreciate that. I did go up to the area and we saw how you have the new sheds inside. It looks great. It's very nice. Okay, yeah, the field looks fantastic. It looks great. The only complaint I have is the bathrooms. When we left the bathrooms last June, they looked great. We peeked in there and they are all bathrooms look awful. You know, the water was turned on today, so I don't know if we can get some help with somebody to at least help us get it to the point where we can walk in there without passing out. We keep it clean for the time that we have it, and so when we come back, we think that it's gonna be clean this time. So we can get some help at least so we can get in there and get it presentable. We would certainly appreciate that.
Joe, can you send somebody out there to borrow the next day?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And then I have a check for the key. Okay, thank you. So we can have a key, is that $100 from Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
I'll give you the check. So we can get a key,
Yes.
and that's it. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the board?
Are you all still accepting children?
Absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. But quickly, because, you know, you have to know. Yeah, but please, yeah. They're out there today, they're probably out there tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow after 6.
Good evening, Dr. Bernie, I'm 850 East 193rd Place. I just have a couple of questions and concerns. Last year, Wind Creek Casino presented to us, to the residents right there at Glenwood. I have just a couple of thoughts, not thoughts, just statements and questions. Okay, they had the 2019 law that was created. They created a license for a land-based casino in the south suburbs for the host community and 42 other south suburbs to share in 5% of revenues generated by the casino. The two host communities, as you may already know, is East Hazel Crest and Homewood. They will get 2% of monthly adjusted gross receipts, while another 3% is shared among 41 other south suburbs, and that includes Glenwood. Wind Creek has estimated that $3 million in tax revenue will flow annually to Homewood and East Hazel Crest, and another $4 million a year to the other surrounding 41 communities. That's approximately $97,000 or $8,500 monthly for Glenwood. A Homewood board is being established that will determine how the money will be dispersed, and Wind Creek has no say in where the money goes. I asked this question at the meeting during the presentation last year, so I'm going to ask it now. How has Glenwood decided to organize and use the money? That's the question. I'll move on to my next one. The water bill. Last year I expressed concern to the board for a water bill that was charging me a late fee before the bill was even due. It was said there was an error due to a new person in the water department and all bills will be adjusted. In light of Harvey residents being overcharged for water, I hope Glenwood will provide a clear explanation of how water is charged and when meters are read. Yard and wildlife concerns. I can't work in my yard due to the danger of being attacked by 4 large cats and 2 litters in my yard. This is like the third time in the past 2 years that cats have been in my yard and have had their little ones there. It has been expressed prior to the danger of cats. These animals could carry bird flu and pose health risks. Residents are feeding cats, as you know, that has been presented to you prior, and other wildlife. Corn on the cob spread throughout my patio does me no good at all. You said, Ms. Mayor, you said you were looking into animal control, but nothing has yet been done. If nothing continues to be done, we could have hundreds of cats and wildlife posing health risks to the community. Board President Tony Predwinkle has partnered with several organizations to host rabies, vaccines, and microchip clinics for cats and dogs. The village must take action before we're faced with a greater health crisis. Hopefully you will investigate the county website and take action to safeguard residents' health. My next concern, the antique car wash. I don't know, Mayor Garner, no survey was given to reflect the desires for an antique car wash when we already have 2 on Halsted. And just think how many antique car owners are going to take their cars to a 24-hour car wash, and who will prevent someone with a Chevy from attending? So that was my concern. And the last question, I have so many seconds left. You all approved something that exceeded $25,000. You just went against what you already put in motion. You said it would exceed $25,000. So maybe you all need to take a look at that at your next meeting to see how you want to move forward. Thank you.
Well, it's over $400 over that, but in answer to Wind Creek Casino, you make $9,000 to $10,000 currently per month. And if you want to go up to $12,000, then you can go up to $15,000 per month. And then you can go up to $25,000 per year. So
The last payment was in March, and it was $9,410.
So that goes to a general fund, just so you know.
Okay,
But people may want to change it in the future.
okay, and,
The water bill late fee, I mean, that's probably something individual.
okay. Okay, Mayor Garland, the only reason I asked you about the casino, because when you were hosting at Glenwood, this discussion was then, that was my question then, who would decide and how would it be dispersed? And you said that it will be discussed, in the future once the money's come along. So I was wondering if you all decided.
And I agree it should be discussed, but right now, we've only got 3 months, it's coming to general.
No, okay, so it's in the general fund. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the board?
Good evening, everyone, trustees, mayor, and other officials. My name is Judith Mills, 349 Stripe Lane. I am presenting a statement. Can you hear me? Because I really need the mic. I am presenting a statement from the Glenwood Estates Residents and Homeowners Association regarding the 24-hour car wash to be built adjacent to Chugala near Halston and Strife Lane. Our community is not in alignment with this business to be built. Good judgment has been thought out thoroughly by our residents regarding the disturbances that are about to take place. But the car wash will be 24 hours, 7 days a week, and will cause many, many negative disturbances. We have many residents that are 80 plus, many near 100 that live in the estate. I'm sure the manor is as concerned as we are, but I can only go with our homeowners in the estates because I think we are closer to all of the disturbances that are about to occur. Other disturbances we are concerned with is trash. Even though there might be this disposal bins for the trash, doesn't mean that that's where it's gonna go. As well as loud music, all hours of the night, because we have that going on anyway with the Chugala over 4 days of a weekend. Hasn't started yet, and I understand they're supposed to be enclosing the top part of their restaurant. So, and I'm almost done. And music from cars that are booming all over the place, the bass playing, you could be sleeping and all of a sudden you are awakened by this trauma. And that is what I personally would consider. God knows what else will take place in this residential community with tax-paying residents, concerned residents, and residents that are happy so far to be part of the Glenwood community. We hope and we plead to each of you not to consider voting for this 24-hour, 7-day-a-week car wash to be built. We hope that another business that will supply the needs of the community will be considered to be built, because this is not the right way to go and the right direction. That is our concern.
So just so you know, let me know that the car wash south of Chugala is not 24 hours.
Adjacent to Chugala.
It's south
well,
of Chugala.
That's what we've been told.
Well, that's false.
Okay, could you give an explanation? If it's not 24 hours, what will it be? What's the time frame?
24 hours, Chief Lawrence.
There was no discussion by the proposed owner of hours of operation, but there was never anything talked about 24 hours.
And we can control that with when they apply for their business license, we can, in the license, say that they can only build in so many hours. I agree with you. I don't think a 24-hour car wash
is acceptable in the plaza. So I would not sign a business license unless we had a firm hours. Your other question was about Chugga. Chugga has already put the deposit on the dome, the retractable dome that they're gonna have on the top of
Right.
Chugga.
We know that already.
So they, I mean, but they have already put the deposit on it.
Mhm.
So people on Virginia especially, and Roberts and the man, are not gonna be blowing clothes. He's a good corporate citizen, and he's already put the deposit.
Okay, we know that part.
Yes.
Yes. So, personally, I can speak for myself on that. I live on Stripe Lane, which is literally a block and a half from Chugga. And it's okay at a point, but after 10, 11, midnight, you know, my house can still hear everything that goes on there. Then when you go to bed, if there's a shooting or if there's another disturbance, we know about it. That's how close we are to it. And this is nothing new, I know. I'm just reviewing. Because this has gone on, this will be, I think, the 3rd or 4th year since they've been open. And a lot of, we've met with them, we've met with the owner. Very nice young man. I have no complaints about any of that. We met, actually one of his assistant managers lives in the estates. So we know everything. We are just concerned about our behalf and our stability, inner stability for survival.
I don't disagree. He's changed his whole business model. The whole problem that he had is he has a club on the north side of the basement.
Right.
VIP club, and that's where all the problems occur. He has extra security guards. He takes them off site. If there's an issue with it, you know, if he sees two people yarring at each other, he takes them off site. But he is changing his, he's got a bunch of security guards. But we haven't had any problems there since. But maybe we need to look at reducing his ordinances.
Okay, we know about the security guards, we know there is security.
Yes.
Our concern about the security is on the parking lot, because they serve liquor. I could be wrong, but I believe until 1 in the morning, they close at 2. And that's when the disturbances take place, because there is no security outdoors on that parking lot like we requested last summer.
They do go outside. They don't go outside if there's a.
We requested security on the outside after midnight, because that is when a lot of the trauma is going on.
Kevin, Brian, he has changed.
They do have outside security. Police officer on the outside, the security guards on the inside. Chief, I don't know if you want to add anything to it, but we have met with them, so they still continue to have that as well.
Yes, we've met with them before. We recommended, initially they had security guards. We recommended they upgrade to supplement off-duty police officers to their security force. We did that as well. And they stagger, depending on the time of day, business hours, they stagger the officers outside and inside as it pertains to closing hours. They remove certain sections of the population of the bar out in increments, so not everyone's going out at once. So they have a decent security plan with this in effect. I can't say that it's always in effect 24/7 every time, but we have met with them, we've given them directives or suggestions on how to keep it safe. So they're responsive to it for the most part. But again, our last incident we had there, we recommended that they close down the nightclub portion of it. And my understanding, it has done that, and that has reduced our involvement there greatly. Hopefully that continues to be the case.
Okay, I respect that, but again, the concern is the security, especially Friday, Saturday, and Sunday after midnight on that parking lot. That is, several occurrences have taken place, and some are known and some are unknown, because I won't go into any detail, but several known and unknown after midnight on the weekend. And not recently. I know about the recent. We are talking about since last summer when we requested this meeting with Chuckalo and it did not take place. So we'll see. I respect what you said and we will see. All we can do is wait and see, but we are voicing a very major concern that we have. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the board?
Good evening, John Murdoch, living on 2 West Wisconsin. I just have a
I
couple.
just want to say one thing.
Yes,
I
sir.
watched Channel 11 over the weekend. This man was on Channel 11 with his horse. That's exactly how I saw it.
Yes, sir. I was just listening to what was being said by Ms. Mills a second ago. And out of curiosity, one of 2 things. Has the contract been signed for the car wash to definitely go into place? Yes or no?
The RDA has already been written. He doesn't own the property. He doesn't own the property yet.
Okay, so if the community decides, since the elected officials are supposed to be representing the community, if that's correct, then if they choose not to have it, then what will we do then? Will we not have it, or will we have it anyway?
I know he's a reasonable guy.
That's not, I mean,
That's a
to,
legal question. I don't know if we answer.
tell them about it,
I am not sure he's going to go forward with it.
So if the community doesn't want a car wash, specifically that one in that particular location,
Not because of that, it's just his decision. I believe his decision has been last time. I'm sorry.
Last time I spoke with him, I believe it was his decision not to go forward with that project or any of the projects in the south part of Plaza. But that could change. But that's my current understanding.
okay, and so I'm still trying to get a clear understanding of yes or no, if at all possible. If the community chooses not to want it, then what do we do? What are our options if we don't want it to go forward?
We can impose regulations on it, hours, times. He currently has an agreement that's been signed to build it. But like I said, I'm not sure that's his intent at this point.
So you heard that, right?
Yes.
They're not sure.
I didn't answer the question.
I'm sorry,
It was a question that you asked, and
To me, it was not, but,
Basically, if he moves forward with it, he'd have to sue the village if we want it. Correct?
say that one more time, please.
I said, if the village doesn't want it,
Mm-hmm.
even though we signed an RDA agreement, we could stop it. And he'd probably sue the village. But whether or not he does that or not, he's a pretty good corporate citizen, he probably wouldn't.
Okay.
But that's speculation.
All right, well, that's what I'm just trying to find out, what are our options if we don't want it, and he continues to go forward with it. So we then have no control over one way or the other.
Well, we have it through the fact that.
Other than being sued, I'm saying.
No, we have to give him a business license, so we have that control.
Okay. Does that end, so if we don't want to go forward as the community and you as the legal body, would you then not give him a license? See, because it's either a yes or no, and I'm not getting that really. We're getting all the probabilities that could possibly happen. What we're looking for is a concrete answer.
Well, I'm giving you the most concrete answer I have, so we could, limit his business license.
Hours wise.
He could sue us. I mean, they sue everything, I hate to say this, John, but my brothers are attorneys, they can sue for anything. So I doubt because he's a good corporate citizen,
Mm-hmm.
I doubt he would do that if we said that's not gonna happen.
Okay, that's the best answer, we'll accept that then. I just want to ask the chief one question. I'm not certain, I do know that some time ago they passed what was called a noise pollution ordinance. Am I right or wrong?
We've always had ordinances on the books regarding noise. I know that recently, a few years ago, I believe we did a specific ordinance for motor vehicles. But as far as noise from businesses or homes, they've always been on the books.
My concern is really about the vehicles. You know, Ms. Mims indicated about how loud noises happens after they leave Chugga and they still in the parking lot and they blasting the noise. I do know in most cases that if someone is doing that, the police officer goes up and lets them know the noise is too loud. I'm sorry, officer, they cut it down, and that's the extent of it. With that being said, and there's really no evidence that the people that have been warned are going to tell people, you can't leave your music up, they ain't going to just say, turn it down, that's it. My question is, to your knowledge, are there any citations that's been given for noise pollution for vehicles?
I don't have that information right now. I know that we addressed that. Our goal is normally when the bar or any of the venues like that close at night is when needed to get people out of there as soon as possible. And we do that. I think that we haven't focused solely on the noise issues, but we do address it when we come across it. We haven't had too many issues with people not continuing on. When we saw, hey, turn it down, get out of here, they're leaving because they don't want to have any further interaction with our officers here. So, but as far as the numbers, I don't have that with me.
And I know I've been up here for 6 minutes already, but with the last 30 seconds I got in my 3 minutes, I just want to know if in fact that in a situation like Chugga, at the end of the evening, can there be when you have to charge Chugga for the police officer sign there with lights flashing to let them know that there's a police officer on site so that we possibly won't have those type of situations where people are fighting, let alone in shooting?
We do that. We've had.
I'm talking about doing the closing time period. I'm not up that late, so I don't know.
We had, prior to the last shooting at Chugga, we had an officer in the parking lot of Washington, and an officer in the parking lot of the bank there. And the officer drove through there. A few minutes after our officer drove through there is when the incident happened. So, and there were also security there. And we've had people, unfortunately, as the night goes on, without alcohol levels and decision making skills go down. Fights and things like that happening right in front of our officers and with our officers, unfortunately. We moving camp around security. We do have officers there. That's one of the nightly, on the weekends, one of the nightly assignments is to monitor the closing of the Chugga, the roller rink, and the other bars that might have large crowds. So yes, we do that. We're over patrol with our lights on to make sure that everybody knows we're there. Again, there are unfortunately, certain people make bad decisions regardless of whether it's.
I understand. Okay.
Like impulse control or just, too much to drink. And that's common with, unfortunately, with nightclubs and bars.
Well, if we have to make the owner prepare and pay for more security, meaning police officers with lights flashing during the time of closing, I think that would be more apropos in a sense of just patrolling from one spot to the other because at the bank, you're not going to fight at the bank.
There are people parked throughout the whole lot.
Okay.
That's why we have officers spread out because we know that people.
Okay, that makes sense. I wasn't aware of that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to address the board? Okay. Communications from the mayor's office. I need a motion for closed session for personnel with no reason to reconvene.
So moved. I'll second.
Trustee Taylor, Trustee Rowe. Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
Trustee Rowe,
Yes.
Trustee Lynch,
No.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Attorney report, John Donahue. Thank you, Mayor. The item under me is coming back for a second vote. It was previously approved. This was for what most people would know as the old Glenwood Theater lot. The Sonic initial agreement, which was approved, was that they were going to construct a new roadway from the rear of their existing car wash, put a bridge across the spillway on the old Glenwood Theater property, and then some additional roads on the Glenwood Theater property to allow traffic to exit onto our
Aquila there, with the hope that this would improve the tie-ups and the safety at Halsted for their facility. That was phase one. And that was part of the agreement to do. They also then had a phase two, which said that they would either develop on that Glenwood Theater lot a one-story enclosure for car detailing, or number two, a one-story 2 or 3 unit retail space. And the reason it's come back, because after Delta Sonic came back with this, they changed it. They still have those 2 phases in there, but they changed it to provide that the phase 2 component may be completed at the developer's option at any time, which essentially means there's no obligation to ever do it. So the question is, I think that's a fairly significant change to the agreement. So the question is, does the village want to approve that with that change, or how else do you feel about it?
Let's get a first and a second, and then we'll discuss. We have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Trustee Rowe and Trustee Brown. Any questions?
Yes. So, obviously, they're going to purchase the property, right?
Yes, that's their desire.
So this will allow them to, they'll just own the land or not develop at all?
Yeah, if they would, well, they're included in phase 1, which would be the access out the back of their car wash on the well.
What's the pro and con for the village with this?
Well, if they own the property, they're paying taxes on it. Number one. Number two, as I understand it, there's a fairly significant issue there with cars backing up on Halsted, and this would hopefully alleviate that by improving the traffic flow, having their cars exit from the back of their facility out on Aquila. And whatever improvements they make would generate some additional tax revenue from that property for the village. It's currently village.
So we'll be back on the tax roll.
Yes.
Then if they don't develop the property, then
Well, it's still on the tax rolls, it's privately owned, no longer village owned, so they still pay taxes on it. If they don't do anything with it, they just keep on owning it until they figure out what they're gonna do with it.
So at a time that they decide they might want to do something on it, do they have to come back with a plan?
Well, you have to follow all our zoning rules, building codes, and all the development constructs that fail, like any person's facing.
So it's not an open-ended contract?
No, they have to follow all our laws and procedures and codes and zoning.
Is there any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
trustee Taylor, trustee Lowe,
yes.
trustee Lynch,
Yes.
trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Brown.
Yes.
No, before, John, you have anything else?
No, that's it.
So I just wanted to bring up also, you see a lot of construction going on 187th Street. We got some grant money, so they're gonna pave 187th Street and go at the very bottom by Glenwood Academy, they're gonna go to Holbrook, and they're going to Glenwood Oaks. So, because the way they're doing it, we're gonna have some closed roads again, unfortunately. But they promised us that it will not be extensive. So, just so everybody knows, how many days, Brian or Chief Wall said, is it gonna be?
For this one,
Yes.
could be up to 5 weeks.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but we'll have, everybody goes on, Glenwood Chicago Heights Road to Holbrook, it's horrible. And also, we're getting, Cook County's gonna be paving the road from State Street at Main Street by Gabe's, all the way to Glenwood. So, I just want everybody to know that. So, you'll see some closures for a little bit, and they're also doing, Glenwood Lansing Road from Cottage Grove over to the bridge, because that road is not in great condition. So, I just want to let everybody know that. Anything else, John?
No, that's it there, thank you.
Village Administrator, Brian Mitchell.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, residents, and guests. Two items tonight. The first one is just an announcement for the Easter egg mania that is taking place this Saturday, April 19th at 8 p.m. application, so we can move on his River Fest. The information has been provided by the Lions Club. This has been reviewed by the staff at UT, which is the police chief, the fire chief, and the public works director. And at this particular time, I would ask for the board to entertain a motion for approval.
Somebody make a motion for the approval of park land application for the Glenwood Lions Club River Fest. Larry, what date is that?
August 23rd.
August 23rd at the Glenwood Plaza.
So moved.
Trustee Taylor. Trustee Clark. Is there any questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe? Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
I'd say,
So if everybody can come up at the 23rd, you'll see either Larry and myself behind the grill sweating. So the ribs are fantastic. There's no question about it. And here's the president of the Lions, past president, and been a Lion since 2000. So please come out and support your community. Most of the dollars that we raise go right into the community. Anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Engineering, Dave Schilling.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. In your packet, you have 3 items under engineering. Numbers 2 and 3 are related. Number 1 is separate. We'll start with number 1. This is the supplemental MFT resolution for the Rebuild Illinois Bond Fund Resurfacing Project that was completed late last year on Illinois Avenue and the other segment on 192nd. So what I'm asking for is the board to approve $134,885.02. Now this has already been, the work has been completed. This has already been paid to the contractor. The project is done. All this does is allow Brian to pay the amount out of the MFT account.
And somebody make a motion for supplemental MFT resolution for the rebuild of Illinois and 192nd Street,
So moved.
not to exceed $134,000. Trustee Lynch made a motion. Trustee Clark, any questions?
So this has already been approved. Why do we need approval again?
Most of this project was paid for by the Rebuild Illinois Bond Funds. The $134,885 was beyond that amount. So the IDOT wants to know how we were paying for the rest of it. And since it is an approved MFT expense, that's just the most logical choice rather than paying on the general fund or something else.
Right, because I'm aware that we use the Longfield tax for roads, so what was the amount of the bond that was already?
It was like $592,000 was the grant amount or the amount that was given from the state. So to get that extra, finish those stretches of roads, the village put it at the $134,885 to make a complete project.
Brian Jansen, in the NFT account, is this $134,885 available?
We do have it in the fund balance.
So what is the balance in that account?
You know, I was just looking for it to be able to quote out the exact dollars, but I do not have it with me. So, I can let you know this evening.
Can somebody come through, was this a budgetary item as well? I just, just those questions, just when we spend this kind of money, where's it coming from? What's the balance in the fund? And did we plan for this?
I don't believe this was part of the budget items, but again, we have a fund balance that could pay it off.
How soon, Dave, do we have to make a decision?
Well, the contractor, like I said, has already been paid. So the state will not let you close out your Rebuild Illinois Bond Fund until you give them an answer on how you're going to pay for the additional amount. If if it's already been paid out of the general fund and you're not planning on using MFT funds, we could just call IDOT and tell them, we're gonna pay it out of the general fund and be done with it. I will want it closed out at some point, you know, like everything to be closed out. You do run the risk of, I suppose they could say, we're gonna take your 590 back if you don't close it out. Highly unlikely, but I guess that is a risk.
I'm gonna thumb through here and just go back so I can check some balances.
Anybody else have any questions?
Questions by anybody else?
So I have a question. So if the grant amount was $592K, and you're saying that we exceeded by 134,885, so the whole thing was, what, like 700 and something thousand, is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
Okay, that's what you're saying, so we overspent. But we don't know the exact amount that we have in the MFT fund. We're not sure what they would say about the grant. We don't know if they'll make us pay. We don't know. We just don't know a lot of stuff about this right now. Is that correct?
I think we, you know, I'm struggling to answer the question. I think we know that the project is done, and it's just, the state wants to know how you pay for the extra.
The state wants to know how we willing to pay for that.
We've already paid it.
Right, that's what, we already.
It does us better to pay it out of the MFT because the MFT account is, you know, you have to use it for MFT related expenses. If we don't use it from the MFT account and we leave it with going out of the general budget, then
Right.
yes.
However, but we don't know what the balance out of the balance.
Okay, I can run out and go get the balance.
Can you tell us if it's more or less than the amount that's being?
It's more than what's being asked for.
Trustee Rhodes has the balance.
So according to the packet that we received from the meeting previously, as of March 14th, the balance in the motor fuel account is $1,228,664.
That's more than enough to cover the 134,000.
Yeah, and again, I didn't have the number in front of me, so I knew there was enough.
Is there any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
No.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Burns?
I got one more question. I'm just trying to, if it's already paid, why are we paying again?
You're not paying again, you're just passing a resolution saying that it can, that amount can be paid out of the MFT account.
Okay, yes.
You should be doing a resolution every time you pay anything out of the MFT account. You can't just go use it to buy street signs, you can't just use it to go buy cold patch. Everything you use has to be on a resolution that gets forwarded to IDOT. They're tracking your MFT account, and if you do not do that, you can be audited. And then when that happens, it's a lot of time to go back, because you might have to go back 7 or 8 years and look up every expenditure that came out of that fund, and then you're going to be doing another one of these resolutions for $3 million to cover the past 15 years of MFT expenditures. So it is good housekeeping to keep up on these.
Thank you.
So, Dave, how much is this next, for Maple Drive and Maple Court in Tulip?
Okay, so numbers, are you finished with number 1?
Yep.
Okay, so numbers 2 and 3 are related. As you recall, we did get $200,000 in CDBG funds for Maple and Tulip. When that grant was applied for in 2024, you probably heard this 3 or 4 times from me by now, but we always ask for the maximum amount, which is 400. The county has only so much CDBG funds, they do the best they can. You never get the full amount that you ask for. I think it was the direction a couple meetings ago to use MFT funds to supplement that 200 for a total of 400 to do those entire stretches. So the entire stretch of Maple and one part of Tulip. So what number 2 is just another MFT resolution that allows you to spend $220,000 to supplement the CDBG amount. And that also allows you to pay the engineering out of MFT instead of the general fund.
So can we get a first and a second, now I further discussion,
I'll make that motion.
MFT, trustee Roll, with
Second.
trustee Taylor. This is an MFT resolution for the combined CDBG resurfacing for Tulip Drive, Maple Drive, and Maple Court in the amount of $220,000. So we have a first and a second. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown? Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Item 3. Item 3 is the same project. This is the engineering agreement to, again, use MFT funds to pay for the engineering for the Tulip and Maple resurfacing project in an amount not to exceed $50,500. So that includes design engineering, construction engineering, and material testing.
Somebody like to make a motion for the MFT engineering agreement, to combine MFT and CDBG resurfacing at Tulip Drive, Maple Drive, and Maple Court, not to exceed $50,500.
So moved.
Trustee Taylor, trustee Lynch, second. Any additional questions?
No.
Wait, call the roll.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe not a question, but I just want us, Brian Jameson, that we keep track of these totals from the Renewable Fuel Tax account that we've already, whatever we vote and agree on tonight, so that we know, or if the next packet that we get reflects.
Yeah, well, since these have not been paid at this point, so this is just approving the fact that that's the direction we're going with it. When the bills come, we're gonna make sure it gets applied to that fund.
And then these funds would need to be transferred into the general fund account for payment, right?
No, we pay them right out of the MFT fund.
Okay.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor? Yes. Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Abstain.
Department reports, Brian Jansen.
Okay, so what I put in there, seeking your approval was, as I was going through various things that are related to the audit and other stuff, one thing did jump out at me, and that's that we pay our insurance plan for the year on installments through Illinois Public Financing Service. Digging a little bit deeper into that, that expense comes with a 10.25% interest rate on it. I'm seeking, since we did get our payouts for the first installments of taxes, to go ahead and pay this off and get rid of the interest costs for the rest of the year by paying this off. My thought was, since it's just a one-year thing, that this is okay. It's not like it's a multi-year agreement, but I'm just seeking your approval to just go ahead and pay this off. The later we wait, the more interest we pay. So that's why the request is out there in the way it's.
So what will be the savings?
I'm estimating, based on if we make the payment on 4/16, just over $5,800, and that's assuming our current interest rate at the third for other funds.
So then we can have discussion, but would somebody like to make a motion for the approval of pay off outstanding balances for the village liability insurance in the amount not to exceed $386,000? The savings would be $5,800 at a 10.25% interest rate.
So moved.
Trustee Brown, give it a second.
I'll second.
Trustee Rolls, any questions?
Yes. If we didn't pay this off today, average the rate is 10.25. What is our current repayment plan on this?
So it's set up for 10 months of payouts, which we've already made 3 months of payouts. So that instead of making the fourth payout, we would pay out the total. Otherwise, it's $56,687.20 per month.
And based upon you stated that we received our first installment from taxes, so that would make this money available.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll. Oh, Trustee Clark.
Yes, when we went into this agreement, was it 10,000?
Are you asking what the rate was at the point we went into the agreement? I didn't realize it was that rate when the agreement was accepted, and it was kind of this is how we've always done it kind of aspect. So I didn't really pay a ton of attention to this because I was doing other things. I probably would have said something at that point that we might want to look at using some of our fund balance to pay it off at that point too. And then we could have saved even more.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll. Roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Lynch?
No.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
No.
Okay, is there any new business? Any old business? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn to closed session for personnel?
So moved.
Trustee Taylor, Trustee Lynch, any questions? Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Clark? Trustee Lynch?
Yes.
Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Everybody have a great Easter. We're not going to come back. We're going to, after the closed session, we're going to adjourn from there. So have a happy Easter, everybody. Thanks for coming out.